Hey, what's up guys? So it's Dr. Dollar here with another video for you guys. Now I am going to be talking about zone to zone trading in this video. It's very simple to understand, but you guys need to take your notes. So make sure you guys get your notes out, write down every single little thing that I have to say. Remember, writing stuff down will actually let you remember it better. So make sure you guys write down your notes and actually understand this. If anything, leave some questions down below in the comment section down below, and make sure to like and comment in this video if you guys do enjoy the video. So see you guys in the next clips. I'm gonna break everything down for you guys. Now remember guys, make sure to hit that tap notification bell and subscribe if you're new here, because at the end of the day we drop so much content on this channel and you guys are not going to want to miss it. So see you guys all there. Peace. Alright gang, so in this video we are going to be talking about zone to zone trading. Now what do I mean by zone to zone trading? Now what I mean by that is that we have a resistance and a support level. Now a big thing that I want you guys to understand in this trading strategy is to make sure that you have your support and resistance levels correct, right? So how do you find a support and resistance level? What you really want to focus on is, multiple touches to a certain level, and then that will be confirmation that that level is now valid. So as long as we continue to tap these areas, we will show that it is a valid setup. As you guys can see, you guys clearly get another level down over here. So what do I mean by zone to zone trading is that once we break a level, that would be something like this. Once we break this level here, we will most likely retest this area to then come down over here. Then once we break this level here, we will come down to this area and then break the area again. The big thing that I want you guys to understand is once we break an area, we will come down to the next area. Once we break this area, we will come down to the next area. Same thing goes for the buys, right? So if we have another zone up here, you will notice that we will always come back up to that zone or that area, right? So as you guys can see right over here, boom, we get that area, boom, we get that breakout, boom, we get the area, boom, we get that breakout. Then you guys will notice that we get another zone up here, right? So then it's just pretty much understanding your support and resistance levels to the T, understanding that why these zones are here and what these zones mean. Remember, our zones mean magnets, right? These zones over here mean magnets, right? So what do I mean by that? I mean that this zone here means that if we break this zone here, it will come up to this zone because this zone is now acting as a magnet. A big thing that I want you guys to also understand is what I mean when I say coming down to the zone and then probably getting a reaction, right? Because remember, these zones are reaction levels, right? So we'll probably get a reaction before coming down to this area. Now I'm going to show you guys on the charts exactly what I mean by this. Make sure you guys are understanding what a zone is and understanding what I mean by zone to zone. So once we break a zone, we will come down and touch the next zone, and so on and so forth. Now we're going to do a little bit of back testing on this video so you guys do understand it much better. So let's go ahead and go down here and let's understand these zones, right? So first thing I want you guys to do is go on the 4-hour time frame and find your areas of support and resistance. 4-hour time frame, where can we find? Let's go to a clean market structure here so that we understand it correctly. On the 4-hour time frame, we clearly get a zone right here. Zone right here. We have this clean little level here. Make sure you guys are drawing these zones correctly, right? This is a big part of the strategy, understanding where these zones can go, understanding where these zones are reacting at. So right there, then we get this zone right here. Then we get this zone here, the bottom here. So these are all zones on my 4-hour time frame. Let's clean up these zones here now. Now we're going to go down to the lower time frames to see exactly where we could possibly get all these reactions at. Now that we have our zones here on the 1-hour time frame, now we can come down and go on replay mode so that it doesn't do that again. So all I'm doing is finding all my zones, cleaning up my zones on the higher time frames, coming down to these areas here, and this zone here. So these are my zones that I like on my time frames, right? So now what do I mean by this? I mean that prices can come down over here, and now we could possibly start to see a breakup above or below these zones, right? So if we break this zone here, what could possibly happen is now price will come down to this zone. If we break this zone, price will come up to this zone. So let's go ahead and show you guys exactly what I mean by that, right? Watch. Respecting this zone, right? So now that we broke out of this zone, what does that mean? Now that we've broken out of this zone, where can we come up to tap? That zone right there. Notice how it does that. Boom, right? So look, notice how once we broke this zone, we came back up to this zone. Now there are multiple zones here now. So now that we understand that price is out of this zone here. We can now take a buy position over here, keeping stops somewhere below the range over here for about 20 pips, to then target our 1-to-1. Now this is a pretty massive push here, but as you guys can see, you know, we get that push. Why do we get the push? Because we've broken out of this zone to then come up and tap into this zone most likely, right? So let's go ahead and see if it actually does that. Boom. Boom. Now that we tapped into this zone, what are we doing? Now what can happen is the same thing that can happen back there. Now we're waiting for this zone to start coming up and breaking out of it. And then where could we target? If we break out of this zone, we can now target this zone right here. If we break out of this zone, we will come up to this zone. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. You need to have your support resistance levels correctly. I will be looking to take some buy stops right above this zone, keeping stops right below a low over here. These candlesticks are massive, but I'm not in just yet. I'm waiting for the highs to be broken. Once those highs are broken up there, I'll be in my trade. So right there, I would have gotten an in my trade because the highs were broken for a good 1-to-2 R to R ratio. Where can we now possibly expect price to go? We can now expect price to go all the way up here to this high, right? If we can hold this area, then we will. Okay, now we have a zone over here, correct? We have a zone right here, and we have another zone over here. So if we can't come up and break this zone, if we can't come up and if we can't stay above this zone here, what's gonna happen is we're gonna come down and test this area down over here. So now all I'm waiting for is to see what happens at this zone to possibly target this zone. But if you guys want, you guys can now enter some sells over here to then start targeting the lows. Keeping stops right above this candle here would be nice. Target the lows, boom, take profit smash, as you guys can see. Now what are we waiting for? Now we're waiting for a price to either come down to this level and respect it or reject it. Now remember, where could we target, right? We can now target our zone down over here. We can target our next zone and then our next zone. Now we have to notice what price wants to do. Price comes up, okay, we don't get in. If we start to break that low, I'll be in my trade, which I would possibly be in this trade right here at the breakout, keeping stops right at a key level somewhere on the 30-minute time frame. Yeah, so I'll keep stops right above the 30-minute candle high to then start targeting. What zone can we start targeting now, guys? These zones here, correct? Notice how we have a clear target zone right over here. Let me go ahead and delete this one here. Since we broke this zone, guys, we are now going to target our next zone. Why? Because these zones are like magnets. Now we do have to be careful with this zone here because it is a smaller zone, but by that time we would have already hit take profit. Let's take a look what happens. Boom, take profit smash, right? We close some of our positions right there. Stops to break even at that point. And what do we get? We get, most likely what's going to happen is we're going to come down and test our zone down here. Now, why? Why do you guys ask that? Because now, since we couldn't hold our previous zone, what's going to happen is we will go to the next zone. Pretty simple strategy, guys. Nothing really too complicated here for you guys to understand, but it's something that changed my trading completely, is understanding zone to zone trading. So now guess what? If we start to break this zone, guys, where could we go? Our next zone. If we start to break this zone, we can come up down over here. So now let's see what happens. See what happens. Okay, we get that break below. I'll be looking to take some sells at that area right there. Once price comes up right there, stop loss below here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see what happens. See what happens. Boom, take profit smash. Now that take profit was smashed at that point, you guys can clearly see that where could we now target? Well, we targeted our zone. I'm sure this is another zone here somewhere. Yep. So as you can see, this zone right over here, price comes up to this area here, and then you guys can clearly see why we went to that zone. Now it's all about finding all the zones, right? Because if remember, minor levels of support, which this is a minor level of support, we came down, broke this major level of support, which is right over here, to now come down and test our next zone. Once we test our next zone, you need to take some profit and then see if price can continue to the upside. All right, guys, so now that you guys get the zone breaking out of, right? So where can we now target? We can now target another zone, right? Now that we get this fat trend line as well, right? But we're just talking about zone to zone, right? So now since we broke out of this range, we could target this range now up here. Let me go ahead and show you guys exactly how I would do that in this scenario. I would wait for this candle here to go bullish, so we won't be in just yet. I'll be waiting for the next candle, keeping stops within this range, then I'll target my 1-to-1, of course, like always, and then wait and see if price wants to go up. Boom, take profit smash, close some there, stops to break even, and then what do we wait for? Where can price possibly go at this point if we are bullish, right? Now, if we're not bullish, what's going to happen is we won't come up to test that area. But as you guys can see, price wants to most likely come up and test that area eventually, right? Notice how once we broke this zone up here, right? Once we broke this zone up here, we came up and tapped into our major level. The confirmation for this zone to zone was this confirmation here to come up and tap into this area. Now, it's not always going to have a straight shot up there, but notice how we never wanted to come down and test our zone down over here again. So what does that tell me? That tells me that price is eventually going to come up here and tap into our area of support and resistance, and you guys will be just fine just like that. So now all we're waiting for is price to see what zone we're going to break now. If we come back into this zone here, what I'm going to do is I will take another buy to come back up and tap into our zone. Notice how what happens. Wait for a bullish candle. Boom. That'll be your entry point right there. Stop loss within the range, of course. Target our 1-to-1 like always, and then wait and see what price wants to do. Well, we get that retracement, boom, take profit, smash. Super simple trading, guys, and I don't know what's happening. I'm surprised I haven't even taken a loss, but this is how accurate this strategy is. If you guys wait for the strategy and wait for it to play out every single time, you guys will wait and see what zones do we want to respect, and what zones, once we disrespect them, where can we go? Where can we go now? Now we can start looking to target our zone up here. As you guys can see right here, where can price go? Well, we got stopped at a break even at that point, but price will eventually go up to that zone. Let's wait and see. I mean, I don't even know if it's gonna do it, but I'm predicting it is. Slowly but surely, I think it'll eventually creep back up there. And if it doesn't, we have our cells over here. Remember, guys, just because it's not playing out all the way up here does not mean we didn't win this trade. We won this trade because we caught our 1-to-1. So now what we're waiting for is to see if price wants to break this low here for some sells, right? So now we get that candle closure right there. I will probably be in on the next candle once these lows here get broken. Stop loss within the range, probably above this 30-minute high, and then targeting my 1-to-1 again. We would have gotten in right there once these lows got broken, and then seeing if we can start looking to target our next zone. So now where's our next zone? Our next zone is right over here. Right over here, we get the retracement of the move. We get the break of this zone. We can now target our next zone. So where does price usually go? Boom, 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 retest. Okay, we wanted to come up and test that zone, but we will eventually, I believe we will eventually come down to test this major level. Let's see. If it doesn't, that's fine. We have another buy zone over here again. Remember, just because it doesn't play out doesn't mean that we can't take our buys, right? Because we've already hit take profit on this trade. We close some there, stops will go to break even at this point. So now we're getting a minor trend, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about zone to zone. So what I'm waiting for is for a bullish candlestick at this very level and then seeing where price will go. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Entry. Entry right there, right? Stop loss gonna be a little bigger on this move because we can get a break of this trend line. 30 pip TP to then see what happens. Boom, 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 boom. Where can we go, guys? Where can we go? Our zone up here. Remember, guys, just because when we broke this zone up here, when we broke this zone over here, where did we go? Ended up over here. When we broke this zone here, we ended up over here. Pretty simple strategy, guys. I don't want to overcomplicate it. It's very, very simple. Here I would take another buy. Why? Because we broke this zone. Now we can start targeting our next zone up here. Boom, boom, boom. Wait. Boom. Simple, guys. Very simple strategy. And this is straight back testing. I didn't even take a loss on this, which is pretty crazy. But it just goes to show how accurate this setup is. Make sure you guys took your notes and understanding what zone to zone trading is. Alright, guys, so that's pretty much it for me on this video. I really hope you guys understand zone to zone trading and how accurate you guys saw me do it. And I hope you guys can do the same thing in your personal trading. At the end of the day, I make these videos to make you guys profitable. Next video will be on smooth moving averages, simple moving averages, why I use them sometimes and why I don't use them sometimes. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the very next video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.